And it's the same thing with online dating. A lot of women are overloaded and they're very busy doing so many things. And that's why I tell guys when it comes to online dating that you need to try to connect with as many women as possible. You need to give yourself an abundance of prospects because women already have that abundance automatically because of the thirsty amount of guys we have nowadays, right? So you're already dealing with dating favors women in all aspects nowadays, and they're getting a ton of matches, and the algorithms on these dating apps favor women. I'll explain more about that in a little bit here because I've been noticing some things happening on the new app. I've been using Hinge and I'm not really that happy about it. So yeah, you gotta try to connect with as many women as possible, and you gotta have at least 5 or 10 women that you're at least sending a message every so often, or you're talking on the phone with a different woman every day. You got to keep your options open and keep the pipeline full if you truly want to find someone. That's what it takes for a man to find one decent woman nowadays, right? So, in my opinion, I think as a man you should leave all of your options open as long as you know what you're looking for. And I'm talking about long-term committed relationships, okay? If you're looking for a hookup or friends with benefits or something like that, I can tell you can easily find that and get that nowadays. Now, you still have to be a reasonably decent-looking guy and still know how to talk to women and this and that. But here's the thing, there are a lot more women nowadays, especially in their 20s and maybe their early 30s, and even some after that just want some companionship sexually every now and then. I've started to come across many videos on YouTube where these pickup artists, coaches, I guess that's what you call them, are showing text message conversations with women where they talk with them on the app and they're trying to size up the woman, whether she's open to have a sexual encounter that same night or not, right? And then they show how they take it off the app, move it to texting, and then the guy invites her over or picks her up, and then they have a night of fun. Even if you're going to do that, which I'm not here to help guys with that, but I'm just saying, even if you're going to do that, you got to move very quickly. The honest truth is regardless of whatever it is you're looking for on online dating, especially if you're looking for a relationship and the woman says she is too, you got to move. If you feel it for somebody and you think they feel it for you, let's say you're talking with somebody on Hinge, for example. You connect, you exchange a few messages, you like their pictures, their profile, they feel the same way about you. You got to take that to the phone as quickly as possible. If it's throughout the middle of the day, say, hey, I like how you, I like how you appear to be. You seem like a cool person. I'd love to get to know you. I'd like to, take this off the app so that way we're not distracted here. If you'd like to send me your number, I'll text you to arrange a call, right? And then in the middle of the day, you text her. You say, hey, this is Eli or whatever your name is from Hinge. How are you doing? How's your day going? They get back to you. It's going great. How about you? It's going great. Hey, how would you like to talk by phone later tonight, right? What time is your bedtime? You want to find out what time they go to bed so you can give yourself at least an hour of phone time with her. Typically, right before bed is the best time to talk, right? And a woman that is really interested in you and really wants to find something real and sees you as her top prospect is going to give you that 1 hour of time by phone that same day before she goes to bed, right? That's when things have worked out for me in online dating. That's the way it works, right? So you got to take it from the app or the dating site to the texting, set up a phone call that same night through texting. You talk with her that night, and after you talk with her that night, you want to set up a date that night. You want to ask her, what's your work schedule like? Do you have weekends off? For me, it is almost a deal breaker if women don't have weekends off, because the women even women that don't have weekends off, they've got a lot going on even outside of work, right? But women that don't have weekends off are going to be much more difficult to connect with. And honestly, Monday through Fridays is when I primarily work. Sometimes I do some stuff on Saturdays and Sundays, if I have nothing else going on. But typically the weekends are where I want to get away from work and hang out with a beautiful woman, go hiking, go to a nice dinner, maybe go on a weekend getaway trip. So that's important to me. And so a woman that's really into you, that you meet through online dating is going to quickly move through that process with you. A woman that gives you a lot of resistance is either not feeling it, has a low level of interest in you, or has a bunch of other options that she's trying to figure out if they're better than you, right? If a woman shows a little bit of resistance, what I suggest doing is try one time to overcome that resistance. Sometimes women will say, let's talk here a little bit longer. I don't feel comfortable sharing my number. Like, for example, I was talking with this woman through Hinge like the other day. And, she told me, she goes, I start off the conversation. Let me read this to you. I'll give you an example. And I'm going to substitute ma'am for her name to protect the innocent, right? The perceived innocent. Hi, ma'am. It is nice to connect with you here. How's your day going and what are you seeking on Hinge? She gets back to me and says, hi, Eli. This was Saturday. Actually, sorry. This was Friday, August 6th, right? She didn't get back to me until Saturday, August 14th, a week later. This was just this past last weekend. It takes time sometimes, guys. Maybe she's trying to figure out her other options and stuff, right? Just be cool, be patient, and talk to lots of women, have lots in the queue. She gets back to me and says, hi, Eli, thanks for sending me a message. This was my first week back to work. Well, that's probably why she wasn't paying that much attention, or maybe she had some other options. And your first week back to work, you're not going to be able to juggle more than one or two guys, right? So that could have been it, but it doesn't matter. She wrote, this was my first week back to work. I teach high school history, and going back has been pretty surreal. How are you? And then she writes and says, I'm looking for connection, platonic, romantic, emotional. What about you? Well, she wrote platonic, romantic, emotional, and I didn't even that went past me, but I said, I'm seeking the exact same, ma'am. I think she's looking for a relationship. Would you be open to talking by phone so we can get to know each other better? If so, please send me your number and I'll text you to arrange our call. I hope you're having a great day, and I look forward to your response. I'm sharing this here so you folks learn how to overcome a slight hesitation or what do you call it? To overcome slight resistance, right? Because all women are going to throw you a little bit of resistance to kind of test you, right? To see if you're sane and patient. She wrote, yes, a phone call would be nice. I'd like to use the phone feature on this app before giving you my number. I'm free today from 2 to 4. I'm also free tomorrow after 12. How about you? So she gave a pretty wide window, to talk either last Sunday or this past Monday, okay? And I don't like talking on these apps. I want to talk with a woman that's invested. When a woman gives you her number, like I've said in the past, she's invested, right? At least somewhat, right? It's a big ordeal for women to give out the number, and I understand that. That's why I go for the number, because I want to see how interested are you in me compared to the other 10, 20, 30, 50, or 100 guys you're talking with, right? This is what I wrote back. I was cool about it. And if she blocked me, so what? I got other people, right? got other women I'm talking with, right? I wrote, unfortunately, I've tried, and this is kind of BS, but this is what I say. Unfortunately, I've tried the app in the past, and it doesn't work well for me with many disconnects. I just don't want to talk on the app. I want some level of investment if I'm going to even talk to a woman by voice. So she wrote back this. She goes, so she comes back with another piece of resistance, right? Okay, do you feel comfortable sending me your number and a time that works for you? I can call you. So I wrote back, and this is true. I have my phone set up this way. I said, my phone doesn't accept calls from blocked numbers, so it's not going to make a difference. You see, the only reason why she would want to call me instead of giving me her number is because she wants to call me blocked, right? So I already knew that, and I put it out there. And if she didn't get back to me, so be it. But what if she did, right? My phone doesn't accept calls from blocked numbers, so it's not going to make a difference. If you don't feel comfortable taking the next step, I can respect that. Feel free to let me know what you decide. I was direct. I was decisive. I was honest. I'm trying to show her, look, I'm not one of those dudes that's here to play games. I truly want to get to know you. And if you're interested, you're going to give me your number. If you're not, you're going to give me some BS, right? Or just block me, right? This was a few days ago. At 4:16, exactly 1 hour ago, 4:16 p.m. Pacific today, she's like, hi, sure. My number is, and she gave me her number. Now, it doesn't always work out that way, but half the time it does. The other half it doesn't. But you gotta understand, you're gonna get a little bit of resistance. Now, if she didn't give me her number, I wouldn't block her. I'd leave it idle because she may change her mind and give me her number down the road, right? This is what kind of happened here, right? But in all honesty, guys, I would not talk to any woman through a dating app, video, or phone section of that app. It's not that, it's not safe to do it. It is. It's just, it's an easy way for them to not have to invest. If I'm going to take the time out of my busy life and busy days to talk with a woman by phone, right? I want some investment from her, and the best way she can show that to me is by giving me her number. Heck, if you don't want to give your actual number, get a Google Voice number. They're free and easy. You can attach it to your phone. That's good enough, right? I sent her a quick text back on the app. I said, I'll text you later tonight to set up our call. For now, enjoy the rest of your day. And that's that, right? An experience I've been starting to notice on the Hinge app. I also noticed this on Bumble. And I'm sure Tinder is the same way, and other swipe right, swipe left dating apps. Now, Hinge is not a swipe right or swipe left app. It might as well be, but you have to, on Hinge, you have to hit like the heart button and send a like, or you can X out on the bottom left. So there's no swiping left or right. I think the reason why Hinge does that is because they want you to actually look at the profile, because there are some written aspects to the Hinge profile. And same thing with Bumble, right? But what have I noticed now on Hinge, and now I'm beginning to realize the same thing happened on Bumble. These apps, and like Hinge will say, we want you to find someone so you can delete the app, right? But what happens if you delete the app and don't keep paying for their premium service? They don't make any money, right? So it sounds good, and the intentions seem great. But Hinge and Bumble, they know as a man that it's going to probably take you a while to truly find someone, especially if you're looking for a committed relationship. And Hinge prides itself as the app to use if you're seeking a real, truthful, real true, which is what I'm trying to say, romantic relationship, right? They also know how women are nowadays. They know women are getting flooded with messages, and they know that women don't have to even pay for these apps to get messages. So these apps primarily make their money from thirsty men, and even non-thirsty men like myself that are just trying to connect with women and, see where things go, right? So I'm just going to speak on my experience of Hinge, but the same thing happened on Bumble. When you first sign up for these apps, right, whether you pay or not, you get a lot of connections, right? And that's what happened to me on Bumble. And when the connection stopped, I'll mention a little bit about Bumble here. When the connection stopped happening on Bumble, I paid for Bumble Premium for a month, thinking that I was going to get more connections like I did when I first, got on the app and using it for free. Well, I got a few more connections once I paid for the app, but not a whole lot more. Same thing happened on Hinge, but with one difference. I actually paid for Hinge right out of the gate because I wanted to have unlimited connections, meaning that it's not swipe right. I wanted to be able to heart and like as many profiles as possible to connect with as many as possible, right? I didn't want to be limited to the free amount, which I think is like 25 per day or something like that. So literally the first week, my phone was blowing up off the hook. I could not keep up. I must have probably hearted and liked at least 1,000 profiles, maybe a little more than that, right? And I literally connected with probably a little over 100 women that matched up with me. And I was in conversation with probably about 50 or 60 of them. And out of those 100 plus I connected after, liking over 1,000. And then out of those 50, that I was communicating with, because sometimes women will connect with you, then they won't ever send you a message, right? Even if you send them one first, right? Out of those 50, I got probably about 20 to 25 numbers. So, I like I said, until you get the woman's phone number and take it to the phone, but at least get the number, they're not really invested in you at all. And all you are is just another number, right? Once you get the number, that doesn't mean you're in the clear and you're the only one she's talking to, but she's categorized you out of those hundreds of messages she's probably getting per day. She's categorized you in the top 10%, okay? And that's where you want to be to have your best chance. So that's why I say it's important to take things off the app, try to get the number as soon as possible, send a few messages if they seem cool, ask them for their number. If they give you any resistance regarding giving you their number, let them know what I said. I don't like how the app works. It cuts off. I would prefer to talk by phone. If you don't feel comfortable talking off, the app, then I understand and I wish you the best, right? And if they're really into you and they really want to talk with you, they'll give you their number. If they don't give you their number, then they're not really into you, and you basically found out sooner than later that that's not a good fit, and you didn't waste your time, and she didn't waste her time any further with you. But after a week of being a Hinge premium member, I have a 1-month package, right? I noticed all of a sudden I started getting far fewer connections per day, literally 1 or 2 per day. I was still hearting and liking hundreds of profiles per day, right? So every day I'll go through, and there are a lot of people on Hinge. And I live in a big metropolitan area. Northern California is a big area, and I have my radius set to 100 miles. So there are infinite amounts of women, right? So I'm hearting and liking profiles. I've been doing that for the last week and a half, and literally I'm not getting even 1% of the connections I was getting during the first week. And I went and read some forums and stuff. I may do a separate show on this at some point down the road. But I went and read some forums, and other guys were experiencing the same thing. So now I'm beginning to believe that this is the way their algorithm is set up. And a lot of guys were saying they give you the best prospects up front, and then after that it dies down. Here's what I think is happening. These apps want to get you hooked right away. So what they will do is they will present you, all the women that are currently active on the site, meaning that they're active pretty much daily or at least every other day, right? And once you go through all of that, because when women are active, look, here's the thing, not every woman's going to respond, but if you heart and like 1,000 women and not one or two or three get back to you, then there's something wrong with you. Your pictures are horrible, your profile's horrible, and that's not the case with mine, right? The chances are that you're going to at least get some type of response if you heart and like enough profiles, right? And that's what was happening initially, right? So they want to get you hooked. They want to overwhelm you. So that way you're like, wow, this is one of the best apps I've ever used. I'm going to keep using this. Hey, if it doesn't work out with this batch, I'll keep hearting and liking, and I'll keep getting an infinite amount of, connections with women, and eventually I'll find that special lady, right? Well, what I realized happens is that after a week or so, when you've exhausted those attempted connections by hearting and liking the profiles that are most active, that are presented to you first by these apps like Hinge, then the other profiles highly assume that they serve up to you are from inactive women or women that have probably been inactive for a certain amount of time. Maybe at first they'll send you women that have been inactive for a week or more, then 2 weeks or more of inactivity, then maybe a month, right? And typically when women are not active on a dating site, it means they've found somebody or they're taking a break from dating, right? But these profiles are still up. They are, attractive women, and they're real profiles. But like I said, for the last week and a half or so, I've been hearting and liking literally at least 200, 300, maybe 400 profiles a day. Doesn't take a whole lot of time, but it still does take some time. And I'm not getting anywhere near the amount or nearly the amount of connections and results like I was initially. So, here's the reason why I think they do that. I think they do that because whether you pay for a premium package or not, if you don't pay for a premium package, they let you, like on Bumble, they let you, I believe, swipe up to 25 people, swipe right on 25 people. And I think on Hinge, it's the same thing, right? And if you take a couple of weeks and you swipe right on 25 people for 2 weeks, you're looking at what? Every 4 days, that's 100 people. You can swipe on over 500 people within a couple of weeks for free, and then basically have the most active people currently on that app, served to you, right? And so then you start, like I said, you start getting a lot of connections and stuff, and then all of a sudden those connections die down. And then they start to offer you, premium, service, blah, 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 get unlimited swipes or unlimited likes, hearts and likes on Hinge, right? So in your head as a man, you're thinking, okay, maybe if I pay for it, I'm going to now be able to connect with more women. I'll be able to swipe right on more women, or heart and like more women, and I'll get more, right? So we pay for the app, and guess what? It doesn't make a difference. Whether you pay for the app or not, it doesn't make a difference. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that paying for the app and having unlimited swipes is not going to get you a few extra women. It probably will, because some of those profiles that are served to you later on, after they've served you the most active ones first, there are some new people, and you may get 1 or 2 connections every now and then. But the majority of those profiles serve to you once you go through the first week or so or two of having tremendous response and having the active profile sent to you. Most of those are not active people. And the reason why, like I said, I think they do that is because they want you to believe that if you continue paying for the app at some point, you're going to start getting more responses or find the one. What I think about this, I think it's a shady way to do business. I think these apps are exploiting men that are already in the most difficult dating world in history. They're exploiting the fact that, women have unlimited, men already in their queue, many on backup status. They know what's going on, and they know that the majority of men out there are thirsty beta males that are going to keep paying for this, right? So, in my opinion, what is the best way to handle these apps at this point? If I had to say at this point, hey, I would buy a 1-month premium membership on Bumble or 1-month premium membership on Hinge. And after that 1 month, I would never go back on the app again, or at least not for a long time, because you will have exhausted the most active people, right? And it's not worth, taking an hour out of your day to heart and like or swipe right on 200, 300, 400 women just to get 1 or 2 that are going to connect with you every so often. And those 1 or 2, may not be as attractive as the type of woman you would really want, or, those 1 or 2, once you start talking with them, it may not seem to be the right fit. So it's not worth it, in my opinion. Now, I've tried one more thing. Earlier today. On Hinge, you can use the boost feature, and pretty much every app has a boost feature, which is pretty much BS for the most part, right? Where they'll highlight and serve out your profile, to the front, like to all these women, right? I tried that, and I actually, there's one on Hinge where you can pay $19.99 for 24 hours of your app, 24 hours of your profile, being highlighted and boosted, right? Now, they give you a 1-hour option and some other options as well. But I'm like, you know what was it, like $9.99 for like an hour or so, or $4.99? I said, screw it. Let's just try this out one time, and then I can share with guys and gals out here what works and doesn't work, okay? I boosted my profile earlier today, about 5-6 hours ago. So far, it has got me like 1 connection with a woman that was extremely unattractive. It hasn't made me any additional connections yet. I'm going to let it roll for 24 hours, obviously, and that 24 hours will expire tomorrow afternoon. But let's see what happens between now and then. If I don't get a decent amount of new connections by doing this, I will come back and share with you folks that it's a joke. It's a scam. It is. Now, is it illegal what they're doing? No, it's not illegal what they're doing. Do I think it borders the line of ethics? Absolutely. Absolutely. These dating apps are exploiting the fact that women have unlimited options nowadays. And, it's much harder for men to connect with women. And they set up the apps in a way where they lead men to believe that they're going to have more hope and more chance of finding the right person if they continue paying for these apps. So that's my thought about that. I really, really want to reach as many people as possible, especially the men that I feel are being taken advantage of regarding this. I mentioned yesterday that there are some apps, dating apps like Hinge and Bumble that are swipe left, swipe right apps. Hinge, you heart the person and like them or X them to, skip them, right? And I was sharing how, when you first get on these apps, you get the most amount of matches and the most amount of responses. And after experiencing this myself and some further research online from other people that have used these apps, primarily men, it is true. These apps for the first week will basically give you a super boost for free on your profile, whether you pay for their premium service or not. And they primarily do it for people that don't pay for their premium service. But even if you buy the premium service on Bumble or Hinge right away, you automatically get that boost for the first week or maybe even up to 2 weeks, right? Then all of a sudden, whether you have a premium package or not on either of these platforms, the amount of responses you get are far fewer. And what I've read is that their algorithm is set to basically do this, to try to get you to pay for the premium package. And basically, once you pay for the premium package, they lead you to believe that with the premium package, you're going to have the same amount of people reaching out to you and contacting you. But the truth of the matter is that doesn't happen. And it will never happen again after that point. But these apps also offer a boost feature, right? Both, Bumble and Hinge offer a boost feature. So what did I do yesterday? I purchased a boost package. You can purchase a boost package for as little as an hour of time, or you can purchase a boost for 24 hours continuously for $19.99. I said, okay, I got $20 to burn. I want to test this out and see if I get the same type of activity I got when I first came on the app by purchasing a boost for $20 for 24 hours. And I mentioned that I would update you folks on this as soon as I found out what happened. Well, that $19.99 boost, I thought got me a couple of connections, but those connections were not as part of the boost. When my boost ended earlier today, it made me aware that I had no new matches based off my boost. I'm not surprised. And what that leads me to believe, and I say this wholeheartedly, is that the boost feature does not work. The boost feature is, in my opinion, it's a scam. And it's there to just make more money, leading you to believe that if you purchase more and more boosts, that you're going to get more and more traction. No. The only time on these apps you get the most traction is the first, maybe even up to the second week. And after that, it's never the same. Unless you're some extremely gorgeous, overly attractive guy, which most of us guys are just average, everyday guys, it's not going to do you any good, right? So, do I feel that these platforms are doing something illegal? Borderline. I don't think it's illegal, but I will tell you, this is my opinion, I will tell you I feel it is extremely unethical what they're doing. They're taking advantage of men that just want to find a good woman. They know how hard it is to find a good woman. These apps know that women have unlimited options, right? So they don't focus on the women. They focus on trying to keep the men on the platform as long as possible. And Hinge says, we want you to find true love so you can delete our app, right? They say that to lead you to believe that they really do care about you finding someone, but the truth of the matter is they care about keeping you on the platform as long as possible. They want you to trust them to the point of where you continuously renew that monthly membership or whatever you have, thinking that eventually you're going to get that one connection. Now, it's not impossible to actually connect with somebody on Hinge, for example, after that 1 or 2 week initial super boost period they give you free of charge where you get a ton of people that are connecting with you and messaging you. But it is a lot harder and it takes a lot longer time. And what I assume they do is that they basically put your profile towards the bottom on purpose. So that way you don't get a lot of responses for a while, and then you keep renewing, thinking that eventually you're going to strike gold and find the right one. Now, why do I mention this? Because most guys that, let's say, did the same thing I did, pay $19.99 for a 24-hour boost. Most guys that got nothing out of it, that figured out the same thing I just did, would be upset and demand a refund, right? Now, could I demand a refund and probably get a refund? Yes. Am I going to demand a refund and go after a refund? No. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm just going to let it go. I did it more as an experiment to try and see, what these apps are really doing. Do they really care as much as they say they care, or are they all about how much money they can make? And it's all about the money, right? And they're preying on men's vulnerabilities of really wanting to find true love. And if they purchase the extra boost or the premium membership, it's going to benefit them more. No, it does not. The premium memberships on these packages on Tinder, I'm not even talking about Tinder. I'm sure Tinder's the same way. But I've had experience with Bumble and Hinge. The premium packages on these platforms do not make a difference. Now, do they initially let you swipe right on a lot more women than the 25 max per day? I believe both allow you to swipe for free. Yes, but if you swipe on 25 per day for the first couple of weeks, you're going to have 500-600 people you can swipe right on, and you're going to get the same, ton of matches with the initial super boost you get on these sites, right? It's not going to make any difference. So in my opinion, I don't feel it's worth paying for these apps. I don't feel it's worth using the boost. It's all a game. And the more and more guys figure this out, and the more and more people like me talk about this, more and more people will realize that these apps are going to have to change their algorithm to be more fair and not try to take advantage of men, leading them to believe if they pay for the premium package or the boost that they're actually going to get more connections. No. I mean, I'm flabbergasted by this whole thing. But again, I'm just going to let it go. Why? Because it's out of my control, and it would be a waste of my time and energy to apply for this refund. And even if I get this refund, what's going to happen? They'll probably blacklist my account, right? And I still want to keep my account open. Like when my premium Hinge membership expires in a couple of weeks or in a week and a half or so, I'm still going to keep it on my phone, because you never know, out of all the people you've swiped right on or have open conversations with, you never know when someone legitimate may reach out to you. You want to leave that option open. But besides that, I would not recommend to pay for Hinge. I would not recommend to pay for Bumble, especially if you're a man. And if you're a woman, you don't really need to pay anyway, because you're getting enough matches for free as it is. Again, I think these sites are going to eventually have to change things up. I think they already know it, because the more and more guys figure this out and talk about it, the less they're going to use the premium service or the boost, and they're going to lose revenue, so they're going to have to make it more fair. Sites like Match.com don't do this, because they're not really a swipe left, swipe right type of site, even though Match has added that onto part of Match.com. But Match.com is more about reading a full profile and sending messages, and you don't even have to connect with somebody and like somebody to send a message. You can send a message on Match to anyone, whether they've liked you or not. It's all a game to make money.